Okay, good morning everyone. It is currently 2 minutes past 9. We're here at the Ironman swim start in Tallinn, Estonia for the full distance Ironman. 3.8 kilometre swim, 180 kilometre bike, and then a marathon. So just another day out. I'm feeling quietly confident. Plan is just to get through the swim, stay nice and cool, calm, controlled, long, strong, all that jazz. Get onto the bike, got a power cap so we know what we need to do, try and hold a decent pace, get the fuel on, make it onto the marathon, and then we know how to run. So let's get after it, my friends. We'll see you when I'm an Ironman. 140.6 miles, 226 kilometres, the Ironman. We did it. Cannot quite believe that. We actually did it. Welcome along to a recap of race day in Tallinn. Now, first and foremost, a huge shout out to Laura Sports who cooked up that first minute of the edit, and a lovely little recap of race day. So yeah, we're going to fire into a bit of a recap of the swim bike run out in Tallinn, and I'm excited to take you through it. But yeah, still feels very, very surreal. Still processing everything, to be honest. But what an event. What a thing to do, and yeah, let's just get into it.
I was like, well, I'm scared about the run. He was like, you've done it a million times.
I want long, calm, strong. Come on.
You always got to keep a nice hand down so no one kicks you. Oh, there is. You can go and try to swim. You can. Yeah.
Right, warm up my arms.
So before the race, now they decided to move the start time from 6:30 until 9:30 the day before, which gave myself and obviously all of the other athletes an extra 3 hours to get prepared. So it was actually quite welcome. It meant I wasn't having to shovel down oats at 4 in the morning, which I was happy about. So we get down to the start line. I know what to do at this point. Get nice and warmed up. Didn't do a practice swim, which I normally like to do, but got in the water. There was a short walk out to the pontoon where we started.
Look at those nipples.
And it was a 2-lap swim course, so 2 100 metre laps with an Aussie exit. For those of you who aren't familiar with what an Australian exit is, it's essentially you just come out of the water, do a short kind of walk or run along either a platform or some form of land, and then back into the water for a second lap. My first lap time was 1:58 per 100 metres, and then second lap was 1:51, so an overall average time of 1:54, which gave me a total time for the swim of 1 hour and 12 minutes. Now it was quite busy and quite, like, what's the word, chaotic maybe to describe it. Like a lot of kind of pushing, shoving like around the boys, a lot of kicking, and I didn't really find a pack to stick with, maybe for like a couple 100 metres at a time. But yeah, overall I'm feeling pretty confident in the water of recent, so had a good swim leg. I was super confident coming into T1. So T1 is where some things started to go wrong. The actual transition itself was just under 4 minutes. However, when I got onto the bike, looked down and realised that the cup, like that my arm would sit in on my TT bars, the like foam that it would sit in, or that sits in the cup, had fallen out. So I had to then run all the way back in my disorientated state back to the transition line to then pick up and then reattach. And it was just a bit of a stressful process, I won't lie to you. The first kilometre, it kept coming off. I kept having to stop the bike, pick it back up, put it back on, because there was no way I could have done 180 kilometres on just straight carbon on my forearm. So that wasn't the best start. However, the bike, yeah, it was a long day out. Lap 1, so a 360 kilometre loops. Lap 1 was pretty good, held an average pace of like 36, which was the overall goal. But laps 2 and 3 was where things started to go wrong. And that's like external factors wise. So the wind picked up, started to rain, and honestly I just got completely soaked. Started to get quite cold, but still holding the 200 watts, which was the plan for the whole race, and still fueled pretty well. Was averaging like 100 grams an hour of carbs. So yeah, it was just kind of sat there watching my average speed slowly come down and down and down, and ultimately finished the bike leg in a time of like 5 hours and 16 minutes with an average pace of 34 kilometers an hour. So was in like quite a significant deficit of around 15 minutes coming into T2. So as I mentioned, coming into T2 on the bike was just absolutely soaked. Thank God I'd packed a spare pair of like dry socks in my T2 bag. So all the cycling kit off, so helmet, glasses, or helmet and shoes in the bag. running shoes on, fresh socks. I think I spent around maybe 3.5 minutes in T2. And as I come out of T2, I see Laura's filming, and obviously she's got a job of filming everyone, wasn't necessarily maybe looking at the splits. So up until this point, I didn't really know like how far off I was from trying to go sub 10. But then Laura shouts out, you're at a total time of 6 hours and 37 minutes, which meant that in order to go sub 10, I would have to run a sub 3:23 marathon. Now at this point, my stomach is doing backflips, so on the first lap, I have to use the toilet, which again kicks my pace back down. I ran past some more of my mates who are maybe like 10k or 6 or 7k into the course, and they kind of reiterated the fact that I was going to have to run sub 3:23, and I kind of found myself at this crossroads where I was like, right, either you can hold what you know you can hold, which is around 450 to 455 for this marathon, come through at like 3:27, 3:28, and maybe do like 10 hours and 5 minutes or 10 hours and 10 minutes. So obviously still like a fantastic time, but not sub 10. Or you can roll the dice, kick the pace down because you know you can run, and just try your best to hold on. Now, I hadn't trained the way that I hadn't sacrificed a lot of stuff, hadn't, flown all the way out to Estonia just to play it safe. I said to myself at that point, like, you've got to roll the dice, you've got to try this. So kicked the pace down and seemed to be holding on until about 32 kilometers. And at that point, like, my quads were just in absolute pieces. There's a little tiny kicker at the back end of the course where there's an aid station, and it's not elevation at all, but you come up, and at that point, like, I could just see my pace was just dropping and dropping and dropping, and I thought, like, nah, there's no way, unfortunately, that you're going to be able to do this. So as I said in my Instagram video, I looked sub 10 in the eyes, shook its hand, said thank you very much for the opportunity, but we'll see you next year. So I kind of made peace at that point with the fact that I wasn't going sub 10, and I understood, like, in the back of my mind that in order for that to happen, everything would have had to have been perfect, and it wasn't. And that's just the sport of triathlon. So kicked it through to the finish, just had a big smile on my face on the last lap. As much as I was in a lot of pain, I was just kind of taking it all in and saying to myself, like, you've done this. Like, a year ago, you would not have been in a position to even think about doing an Ironman. So just take it all in, and all I could think about was coming through and hearing the guy being like, you are an Ironman. So I come in, right, to the final stretch. I see the bell, I ring the bell, and I'm like, come on. And the guy on the mic is like, yo, I recognize you from T1. And I was like, oh no, this is the guy that saw me run out with my bike, go to mount it, and have to run all the way back to find my little nappy pad to put on my tri-bars.
Come on now, Gregor, you are an Ironman.
So yeah, ring the bell, guy says it, you are an Ironman, come through, and yeah, I am an Ironman. It's still a bit mental to say that or even think about it. Like, I can't even wipe the smile off my face right now. I'm just chuffed. I'm so chuffed. And, like, I'm getting emotional. Coming away from that event, I was just, like, so inspired and so motivated by, like, everything that had happened over the weekend. And, like, the first thing that I could think about was, like, I want to do that again. And I can't believe I'm sat here saying this because it was brutal, but I just want to do it all over again. I want to sign up for another race. I want to be in the pain cave. I want to be struggling. I don't know, is that weird? I absolutely loved it. And that's not to say that like there was points where I didn't love it, because there were certainly times, and you've probably seen in these videos, like there's times where I just threw the toys out the pram and had an absolute tantrum. But like ultimately, I think the thing about Ironman is like the person you become throughout the training block, and you know the dedication that you put towards it, the early mornings, you know, the late nights, managing this all around the full-time job as well, and trying to make like content both on Instagram and on YouTube, which honestly, like I need to make a point to say like thank you so much for every comment, every like, every interaction, every message. Like when you're in a bit of a hole throughout this whole training thing, those kind of interactions like make it all worth it. And people that I met out in Tallinn, people that I've just met all over the place, like genuinely thank you so much for the support. So yeah, I've got Berlin Marathon in 3 weeks, which will be interesting. We are officially at the end of the road to Ironman. I have got some plans to race like the 70.3 distance and maybe the full again next year. I say maybe, it's most definitely going to happen. But, you know, we'll see what life throws at us. But until then, thank you for all the support on the channel with these Ironman videos. Stay tuned, because I'll be making some videos regarding the build towards Berlin Marathon. And yeah, thank you again. We'll see you soon. Adios.